At my brother's baby shower, my mom gifted him a deed to the apartment I paid off. My dad told me I had 30 days to leave. I smiled and said, 1 day's enough. By sunrise, I stripped the place bare. The next morning, a surprise delivery showed up at their door. So, it all kicked off with this cake. A giant fondant mess that looked more like a gender reveal party exploded in a Tiffany's store than an actual dessert. Picture this: blue ribbons, edible pearls, and tiny plastic shoes sitting on top like the crowning glory of poor choices. My mom was standing beside it, grinning as if she'd just solved world poverty with themed cakes. I wasn't even supposed to be there. Technically, I didn't get an invite. My cousin slipped me the address with a "don't kill the messenger" text. We have that kind of twisted family loyalty that could get you voted off a reality show island. But hey, I showed up anyway and brought a little gift. Nothing extravagant, just a vintage silver rattle engraved with the baby's initials, wrapped in navy tissue. Not flashy, but it meant something. Turns out they had something flashier in mind. Right after the cupcakes came out and the pastel balloon arch had crumbled multiple times, my mom started tapping her glass with a fork, announcing she had big news. In my family, family is everything is code for brace yourself, someone's about to be embarrassed. She held up this gaudy gold-trimmed frame. Inside, a deed. This, she declared proudly, is a gift from all of us. The new parents got an apartment, free and clear. Everyone clapped. My brother was beaming, his girlfriend teared up, and my aunt went wild, like they'd saved a stray dog, not gifted away a mortgage. I walked up, snatched the frame from my mom, checked the name. My name. I stared at everyone, glanced back at the frame, and then at my dad, who leaned in like a car salesman. Waki iu di uki ampo, whispering, "You have 30 days to move out." I grinned. 1 day will do. Handed the frame back, gave a nod, and walked out. No drama. Not yet. By dawn, the building manager unlocked the doors. By 7, the removal crew was ready. By 9:30, everything they had brought in was out. The floors torn up, which they paid for. The crib, the curtains, the wobbly IKEA dresser, all boxed. Even that cutesy Etsy wall sign was peeled off and tossed. I didn't touch what was mine, just erased what was theirs. By 11, it was no longer their cozy home. It was back to being mine. At night, a text from my brother. "This some kind of joke?" I shot back. "Not yet, but wait for tomorrow's delivery." This apartment wasn't supposed to be part of the deal. Not for me, not for them. I bought it back in 2020. A small, peaceful 2-bedroom place, close enough to work. Lots of light in the kitchen. Never bragged about it online. Never invited anyone over. It was my retreat. Then my brother and his girlfriend showed up, claiming it was temporary, just until they found their own place. They came with their duffel bags, a yoga mat, and a cat. I thought, sure, a month, maybe 2. They stayed 19. Not once did I ask for rent. Occasionally they'd offer to buy groceries. Sometimes they did. Mostly they didn't. I didn't keep track, assuming it was short-term. Wrong call. First thing they did was add floating floorboards. Not too shabby, just some mid-range oak laminate. My brother insisted it was an upgrade for us all. He paid. I shrugged it off. Next, they set up this IKEA bookshelf hack for $160, white frames and fake gold legs. His girlfriend posted a time-lapse of him putting it together, captioning it, "Our place is coming together," with me lurking just off camera. Over time, their words shifted. It went from "your apartment" to "our space." From "thanks for letting us stay" to "we love this home." From "we're searching for a place to silence." Their toothbrushes in my cup, shoes crowding the front door, laundry left in my washer. I never said a thing. Then came the baby. They didn't tell me directly. I found out from an Instagram story. Her with a sonogram and him in the back, flexing like he'd discovered fire. I texted congrats. He replied with, "We should talk about making this more permanent." I didn't dig for details. They didn't explain. A few weeks later, my folks called. My mom asked if I'd consider gifting the apartment. Not the whole thing, just symbolically. "They're starting a family," she reasoned, "and you're doing well." I said no. She said it wouldn't kill me. I hung up. Then there was the family fund. Started quietly in 2019, $1,500 a month to help with my folks' mortgage while Dad was recovering. Then $600 more for my sister's rent, $200 for Uncle Rob's legal bills, $320 for Mom's dentist, $3,000 for a roof patch. I stopped counting, but my bank didn't. Over 4 years. Family account transfers, $91,200. Apartment mortgage, taxes, fees, $112,000. Furniture and repairs, $9,300. Food, utilities, random stuff, $6,700. Total, I'd spent $209,200. Contributions from anyone else? Just my brother's $940 for the flooring. So, here's the scoop. There was this bookshelf I had worth about $160 and a second-hand blender my girlfriend's mom gave me. When I was asked to transfer the deed to the property, I flat out refused. They stopped nagging and took matters into their own hands. About 3 weeks before the baby shower, my brother decided to set up a notary appointment, pretending to be me with a fake email. My dad was in on it and sorted out all the logistics. Meanwhile, my mom got in touch with a lawyer. They used a scanned signet, from a tax form I had filled out back in 2018. It was a lousy forgery, but somehow it did the trick. The property title got reassigned without me ever signing off on it. Fast forward to the baby shower. They put on this big show, acting like they were doing me a great honor. They wanted me to join in the clapping and smiling. Instead, I was just watching as my name was paraded around in a fancy gold frame, like some sort of prop. My mom went on about how it was a gift from all of them. Apparently, all of us didn't include me. This coming from the same person who originally bought the apartment, furnished every room, paid the electric bills, and even shelled out $280 for the crib from Pottery Barn. It was sitting right there next to the cake, wrapped like it magically appeared through a team effort. After that, I didn't blow up or cause a scene. I just got down to business. Logged into my bank account, printed out the statement, and highlighted every single transaction tied to that apartment. Things like the down payments, insurance, taxes, and repairs, including the $342 I spent to fix the garbage disposal after his girlfriend thought it was okay to dump avocado pits down it, because TikTok said so. I put all the evidence in a folder with no commentary, just the cold, hard facts. By the next morning, I had changed the entry code to the apartment, and the building manager helped me reset the buzzer. I also made a list of everything inside that didn't belong to me. The flooring, the bookshelf, the crib, the baby decals on the wall, basically anything they brought in or bragged about online. I didn't call or text my brother. No threats of legal action, no explanations. That was exactly what they expected, and I wasn't about to give them the satisfaction. They thought if they made it all feel like a big friendly gesture, I'd stay quiet. But nope, they crossed a line. So, by 11 minutes past 9 a.m. the next morning, a moving truck parked outside the apartment. The driver unloaded 64 flat-packed cardboard boxes. Each box was labeled with a nice, clean design. Start fresh. The top box had a taped envelope with a packing guide and a list titled, "Everything You Brought." Categories were neatly organized: baby clothes, unwanted nursery decor, shared stuff, and so on. There was even a box for "Let's Talk" and another for "Entitlement." They had 30 days to grab their stuff, although I thought I'd give them a head start. They opened the door before noon, and the hallway camera caught my brother standing there, looking shocked. His girlfriend was right behind him, holding a coffee mug and dressed in her attention-grabbing robe. He opened the top box, found it empty, and she started crying. I watched that footage without sound. Later that day, my phone blew up with messages. My brother asking what was wrong with me, Dad telling me I'd made my point, and my sister asking if I was genuinely okay. I ignored them all. Instead, I sent them a PDF titled Apartment Final Numbers, listing everything I'd paid for and everything they'd taken. At 4:17 p.m., my mom tried calling again, leaving a voicemail saying they never meant to take anything. It was just symbolic for the baby. I saved that audio file as symbolic to MP3. Then, the next day, my brother showed up, rang my buzzer multiple times. I watched through the peephole as he stood there in his hoodie and sweatpants, holding a half-folded box. I let it sit on my doorstep until it rained. That weekend, I returned the floors they had installed, every plank, every screw, all of it, boxed up with a note about how rebuilding is easier when you have your own materials. They moved out, quietly, no social media farewell, just disappeared into thin air. By the month's end, the apartment felt like mine again. Their scents, their coats, and even the baby banner were gone, returned to them. Nobody ever asked for those 64 boxes back. I assume they probably used them. A month later, my mom sent out a group email titled Family Reconciliation, complete with bullet points. It was about not letting money come between us and how forgiveness is a gift. It was pretty clear where I stood after all of that. So picture this. You reached out when you needed help, but I didn't jump in to reply directly. Instead, I forwarded your message to myself with a snazzy new subject line, Family Rebranding. Then, I quietly archived it. The apartment, it's super quiet now. Some nights I just sit there in the dark and listen. You can almost hear the faint echoes of their plans bouncing off the walls, like ghostly whispers that are much quieter and definitely easier to ignore than any real people. They tried every approach, being loud, then quiet, then all meek and mild. It all kicked off with a text from my sister, suggesting, let's just reset. No drama, no receipts, clean slate. Not long after, my mom called and left me a voicemail. It was like, I know we've screwed up, but you're always the wise one. You've always been. My favorite interlude was from Dad, a simple invitation to dinner for a man-to-man talk. They picked a Tuesday, and I said sure, why not? We met at this mid-level Italian restaurant. They thought dim lighting might soften things up. Spoiler, it didn't. I got there second. They'd already gone through half a bottle of wine, strategically poured into 2 glasses. I let mine sit untouched. My mom launched into her spiel first, blaming pressure and chaos and the baby. Then came the part about going behind my back, all in the name of love, of course. I let them deliver their little monologue. Then I calmly opened my bag and laid out 3 items on the table: a USB drive, a manila folder, and a neatly laminated sheet. Dad reached for the USB, but I pulled it back, saying, "You won't need it. It's already been emailed to your employers and the bank." My mom just froze there. I handed her the folder, which held a notarized termination of all co-signed accounts, a legal notice yanking back power of attorney, and a side letter ending my monthly contributions. No drama, just the facts. I turned to my sister and said, "You're off the insurance plan as of last week." She blinked maybe twice and then tried to smile, saying, "That's okay. I'll figure it out." I just nodded. "You will." My brother, well, he bailed, but he got his own courier-delivered folder. Inside, a bill for property use, an itemized list of damages, and a QR code linking to a Dropbox folder. It was labeled Resources to Get Started, and loaded with resume templates, cover letter samples, a mock LinkedIn profile, and a short tutorial titled How to Apply for Jobs When the Free Ride Ends. That Saturday, I threw a picnic. Not for family, but for X family. At the park, we had a table, plastic cups, and name tags with first names and job titles. Except no one had job titles, so I brought extras. Each tag stated, "Available. Ask me about my skills." My aunt cried when she saw hers. My cousin acted like it was a joke, and my mom said it was confronting. I told her, "That's the point." I then distributed folders. Each contained a printed job board URL, a fact sheet on budgeting for grown-ups, and a sticky note. "You said I was the responsible one. I'm helping you become one too." The following, Monday, I filed a police report, not to press charges, but just to notify them about identity misuse and title forgery. The officer asked if I wanted to take legal action, and I simply said, "Not yet." By Thursday, an email from my dad's lawyer popped into my inbox. It was titled, "Concern about Escalation," and basically pleaded to resolve this without tearing apart the family over some documents. It emphasized that this battle wasn't what my mom wanted. I shot back a quick two-liner. "You wanted life without me. Let me show you what that actually looks like." After that, the calls and texts dried up. But silence didn't translate to surrender. It was more like confusion, which was, surprisingly, way louder. They stopped referring to me, skipping my name altogether, even in accidental messages forwarded to people who still knew how to pass them on. But I was in the loop, thanks to my cousin in Indiana. She gets stuck on every family chain, so she gave me the play-by-play. No commentary needed, just the raw data. "FYI," she'd write, then forward it over. Sometimes it was an audio message, other times a photo, like one of my mom sporting her healing scarf, restocking library books because she took up a part-time job there. She told folks it was to stay active, but the hidden truth was that her insurance no longer covered her blood pressure meds. My cousin heard her whispering about co-pays from behind the help desk. She also sold off a couple of handbags she once considered investments, now dubbed non-essential joys. Dad downsized his car, not out of any eco-consciousness, but necessity. The dealership confirmed it. My cousin's boyfriend works there and said Dad looked out of sorts, muddled over finance details, even forgot the model of the hybrid he was trading in. Now he rolls around in a used silver sedan with a flickering left headlight, which feels just about right. I know his office got downgraded to a smaller room. A junior partner mentioned it in a group call that got screen recorded and leaked, mumbling something about needing less space. He didn't mention the family phone I stopped paying for, or the data plan, or the calendar subscription. As for my sister, she moved in with her boyfriend's mom, which was supposed to be temporary, but 5 months later, she's still there. The guest room where she stays smells like wet dog and out-of-date shampoo. She keeps referring to it as transitional housing. Last week, she even posted a motivational quote about growth looking a lot like falling apart first. So here's the deal. My sister's school fees used to be something I covered. No sweat. Now they've chopped it up into 3 different payment systems. She missed one, got an email reminder, then forgot her password. Cue the classic call to the university where she got stuck on hold, cried a little, hung up, and tried again the next day. Over coffee, she spilled all this to our cousin, who later gave me a call. "She's figuring it out," the cousin said dryly. Meanwhile, my brother threw his baby's first birthday bash right at their own apartment. Surprise, surprise, I didn't make the guest list, but one of their neighbors did and posted all the juicy pics on Facebook. I wasn't tagged, obviously, but you could still see those tacky plastic tablecloths and the mismatched cups. The store-bought cupcakes were from the discount aisle, one balloon burst mid-celebration, and they couldn't get their Bluetooth speaker to sync up. No professional photography, or either. Just some iPhone timer shots. The napkins had "blessed" written on them, but someone crossed it out with a pen. Not a single smile in any picture. Lately, they've started calling money tight, which is code for "it's gone." My brother even tried out a budgeting app. I know because he accidentally sent me a referral code he never ended up using. Turns out, A whopping 34% of their expenses one weekend were labeled miscellaneous. They even renamed our old family group chat to Support Circle. I'm not in it, but I still get screenshots. The chat's still the same, blue bubbles and all. Mom asked, "Guess who made lemon bars?" and got 0 responses. Dad dropped an article. Forgiveness adds 5 years to your life, and it got 2 views, no likes. My sister posted a selfie with the caption, "Growth." The same old dog rug was in the background. No comments there either. Thanksgiving went down without me. I only figured it out when a blurry pic surfaced in a shared album from a mutual friend. The turkey was burnt, the chairs were unmatched, one even being a beach chair. The sound system wouldn't connect, so they just used someone's phone. They had a printed gratitude list on the table, 5 lines, but only 2 filled in with health and hope. The photo was unfiltered and didn't need one. My cousin in Indiana texted me later, saying things were weird because no one even mentioned my name. That said it all. Not that they missed me, but that they worked so hard not to. By then, I had already rebuilt the floors in my own place. They used to be old, noisy, and not quite straight. It was only after I ripped them up, sanded, sealed, and finished them with new oak that I realized how much they echoed without anyone else around. I painted the walls a quiet, soft gray, nothing trendy, just peaceful. Removed 2 chairs from the living room, added a cozy reading corner. The kitchen got under cabinet lights, and the laundry closet became an actual room. No witnesses to the process, no progress pics requested. It was liberating, setting up a space just for me. Then I met her at a hardware store. She was haggling over grout color with a guy who couldn't care less. I cracked a joke. She didn't laugh, but instead corrected my punchline, making it way better. We left with the wrong grout, but swapped numbers. Our first date was takeout on my freshly installed floors. She brought her own fork. She's not into plastic. I respected that. She didn't ask about my family until month 4, and even then, it was just a question, not a trap. I told her I'd been quietly distancing myself from them, and when she asked if they noticed, I said they're still acting like they're grieving. I just stopped applauding. She didn't push further, just nodded and switched the topic to paint primers. Our relationship grew slowly. By month 6, she had a drawer at my place. By month 8, her toothbrush and shampoo found a home there too, along with her voice. By month 10, we were engaged. By month 11, we were expecting a baby. She told me in this calm, matter-of-fact way, like she was reading a weather report. I didn't cry, but I sat on the kitchen floor for about 20 minutes holding the bowl she used every morning. It felt heavier somehow. I didn't tell my family. There wasn't an announcement to wreck or a seat to leave vacant. They found out through someone else. My aunt texted, "Congratulations, I guess?" No follow-up, no address for gifts. Perfect. They didn't ask to be part of this, and I didn't offer, not out of spite, just clarity. I had no space in my peaceful life for people who only brought noise. Now, I spend my mornings in a home that feels settled. We bicker over little things like grocery lists and parking spots, but no one shouts, no one vanishes. When the baby kicks, she laughs like it's the first time, every time. We politely turned down hand-me-downs and assembled a crib ourselves. Sometimes we just sit in the nursery in silence, and it's beautiful because silence no longer feels like something's missing. It feels like enough. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoy hearing stories like mine, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.